Hi there, I'm Oliver from Abbey Access Training. Today I'm going to show you how to make a beef stroganoff, which is one of the meals which we've been preparing for the children in need at the moment. I'm going to talk you through the ingredients before we get going on the recipe, just so you're aware what we're working with. So we're going to be having beef as our main source of protein on here. We've got lean beef, so it's a bit healthier, so it's only 5% fat on that. If you have ones with more fat, it's not an issue on that. It's whatever you can afford on that. Equally, when you're having stroganoff, use chicken if you like. That's a really nice one as well. So whatever your preference is, it's going to be your recipe when you cook it. So cook it however you like on that. We're going to have onions as well, which are packed full of things which help boost your immunity on there, as well as the garlic on that, which also helps with things like offsetting arthritis as well. We've got mushrooms. Not every child likes mushrooms, but they are a great source of vitamin D. So throughout winter, they're a really good thing to have in your diet because you'll be lacking that from the sunlight you'd be getting in summer as well. We're using creme fraiche instead of full fat cream on that, so it's a healthier, lower fat option when you're having this. I've got beef stock as well. I've just got half a cube in here, so there's going to be less salt. You can get low salt cubes as well, which are obviously better for you on that. I've just got 300 ml of hot water and I've dissolved the cube into that there. I've also got some frozen mixed veg. It's a perfect thing to have because you can keep it and it's long life. Because it's frozen, it's packed in with nutrition and it's not going to be spoiling. So if you get fresh veg, if it's out on the side or if it's out, it will be getting worse and the nutritional value will drop over time, whereas on frozen, it is packed and sealed in there until you cook it. I've also got some leeks as well, so if you don't like onions, leeks are a great alternative to have, or if you have a reaction which some people do to onions, leeks substitute really nicely in terms of texture and flavour on there. And the last bit I've just got is mustard. So this is just a Dijon mustard. You can use whole grain, you can use horseradish if you like to add a bit of extra flavour to the recipe on that. On the one we did for children, we didn't put it in because it's an extra allergen, which means that it might not be suitable for all, so we left it out, and also it can have a distinct flavour which children might not be a fan of. I'm just going to turn on my pan now, onto a medium heat. I'm going to put a bit of rapeseed oil in, which is a bit better for you than vegetable oil on there for you. You can use things like coconut oil, which actually does have a higher saturates on, but it's a good type of fat like you have in avocado and salmon, so you can have that. So this will heat up quite quickly. I'm using an induction hob, so if you hear it beeping, it means the pan's come off the heat on that. So first off, I'm just going to add in the garlic and onions and the leeks as well. Because you can use either onions or leeks, it's absolutely fine that we're using it at the same time. They do have some different nutritional value, so having more vegetables in your meal is always a winner. If you make your plate up to about 50% vegetables, then you'll be getting the perfect amount into your diet on there. So we're just going to cook off a little bit on there. When you're cooking, you'll get a really strong smell of garlic right now and from the onions. We're just going to wait for them to sweat off a little bit, and then we're going to add in our meat. So as I said, we've got lean beef here, which is really good because there's less fat on it, so it cooks through quite nicely. If you're not sure how to cook things, if you're not confident, if you cook smaller, then it's more likely that you're going to cook through properly. On beef, the temperatures aren't as much of an issue on that. I'm going to add that into the pan there, just to layer it in, sizzling away. So you can see on here, the ratio of veg to meat is quite balanced at the moment, but we're going to be adding more and more vegetables in, so it'll be a fully nutritious meal by the time we finish with this. So now I'm going to add in the mushrooms. It looks like there's a lot of mushrooms, but mushrooms are quite similar to spinach, and when you get cooking with them, they will wilt down to half the size, if not less, depending how long you cook them for. So they're going to be added in now, and they're going to cook away. You can see the beef starting to seal now on that. It's starting to brown on the outside. So I'm just going to keep turning it so it's cooking through evenly on there. I'm just going to add in the flour now as well. You don't need an awful lot, but what this will do will help thicken your sauce, and also it'll capture some of the beef flavour as well and give a really nice rich texture. And now I'm just going to pop in a teaspoon of mustard into that. You can put the mustard in earlier if you like, it's up to you on that. It does work nice early on in the recipe because the flavour does lock in, and with the flour it goes there. As you can see, the flour is sticking to the bottom of the pan a bit. That's not a problem on this recipe, on that, because that will actually add a lot of flavour in because it's got all the juices from the beef coming into it now. So now I'm just going to add in the beef stock on there. You can see not all the beef is fully cooked through, but this isn't an issue. Because we're continuing cooking, heat is going to keep going through. And because we've got quite nice lean meat, we'll keep it nice and soft. So you don't need to cook it to an absolute crisp on that. You see, from the flour, that's starting to lift off there now, so it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan. And it's forming, and you can see it's starting to thicken up quite nicely onto there. So this is going to be a really rich flavour on our recipe. So here with the creme fraiche, so you can use cream, but this is much lower in fat there. It's quite nice and light, so we'll just have a good dollop on that. And then we're just going to stir it in. This will once again thicken. It may look like it's going to split, but that's absolutely fine on it to start with, because it'll just break down and it will melt into the recipe. So if it looks like it's going to split because you've got it on a high heat, then that won't be an issue. It will come together on that. So now I'm just going to add in my vegetables on there. So we've got a good mix here. We've got carrots, which is a great source of beta carotene. We've got peas, which are full of protein. Some green beans as well. And there's some sweet corn as well. So I'm just going to pop that in. You wouldn't necessarily have this amount of vegetables on a traditional stroganoff, but we want to have as much nutrition as we can into a dish. So as you can see, it's cooking away nicely and the sauce is really starting to thicken up. If you want it more saucier, you can add in more stock to have it there, but I like to have mine so I can really get each bit of vegetable or meat in the mouthful on that, so you get a nice flavour. So we can allow that to just cook away now there. When you're going, if you're cooking at home, just try and always clean as you go on that. So have a sink ready, you can just pop your plates, pans in, jugs in on that. So by the time you can serve the meal, because you can leave that for a minute, you can have done your washing up. So by the time you're plating up, it's going to be a lot easier for you to clean up afterwards and enjoy your evening or day or whatever time you're cooking this meal at. So with this, I'm going to be having it with some pasta. Here's some I just cooked off earlier. You can have it with rice or with whatever you want on that. It's your dish at the end of the day, so whatever you prefer, whatever your family prefers, it's absolutely okay to have it. So on here, this is 1 pack of beef which I used. Well, that will feed 4 easily on there. So using vegetables really do make the meal go a lot further on that. So that was about 250 grams of beef. Well, that'll be enough to feed a family of 4. Price of an onion is about 20p on that, so that's only half an onion in there. So once again, it's ingredients which don't cost a lot of money, but make the meal go a really long way on there. So we're almost about done there. Let's say with beef, it doesn't need to be tough as boots when you have it. Beef is something you can have, which doesn't have to be 75 degrees like most things. So if you eat a steak, if you were to have it medium rare or rare, you're looking at 50 to 55 degrees as a core temperature. So as long as you're using a good quality beef on that, you'll be okay. But I can tell from that, it's going to be cooked through nicely there. And our sauce has thickened up now. It'll be full of flavour from that. So it's low in salt because we've only got the stock cube and we only use half of one. So between 4 people on this meal, you've had an 1/8 of a stock cube, which isn't an awful amount of salt in there. So it is good for you dietary on that. You can add a bit of black pepper in as well at the end, just to add a bit of flavour for you. Well, that'll be done on that. So as you can see there, got a nice thick sauce there. Got a meal full of vegetables, full of colour, and that'll easily serve 4 people. There we go. Very easy, beef stroganoff, 1 pan, all done. Thank you very much.